Hi, this is Pastor Ryan. Welcome to my channel. I'm in Silver City, New Mexico. No, there's no AMI church here. I came yesterday with my son. My son is a minister and he has been assigned to pastor United Methodist Church here in Silver City. So I came to help him to move. We came yesterday. We were on the road for about 7-8 hours from West Texas. So we're kind of tired. This is Saturday afternoon. Silver City, New Mexico. City of slightly more than 10,000 people. It's a place that I guess you will never visit. It's a quaint town. There are some tourists here. This is not the first time I came here. I came here 42 years ago when I was 20 years old. How did I end up here? Oh, I'd like to share that story because what happened here literally changed the direction of my life. At that time, I was attending a Bible college in Fresno, California. So how did I end up in this school? West Coast Christian College, which was a school belonging to Church of God denomination. Well, 5 months earlier, I had gone to Los Angeles from East Coast. I was living in Virginia. I just finished my second year in college. At that time, I was utterly lost. I was just suspended from school for low GPA. I was party animal. I wasn't studying. I didn't know the Lord. But I became a believer in May of 1981. I was 20 years old. For 4 months, I stayed in that church where I got saved. It was called Word Agape Mission Church under Pastor John Kim. I spoke about him about a month ago. And after 4 months of staying in that church where he trained us, there were like 20 or 30 guys like me, people who became believers as a young people and were discipled by him. In the church, we were sleeping, eating, and doing all kinds of things in that church. He told 9 of us, including me, to attend West Coast Christian College in Fresno. And after 4 months of staying in Fresno, attending that school, I had enough. I didn't want to go back to Fresno, neither did I want to go back to Los Angeles. I decided to head home to East Coast in Virginia. But I had no money. I had no money to go back. So I asked Luane. Luane was a son of a minister who was pastoring a Church of God church here in New Mexico. So I asked Luane, by this time we became good friends, whether I could hitch a ride with him, go to his house in Silver City, New Mexico, and maybe get a job, maybe part-time job for a week or two, make enough money, get a bus ticket or plane ticket, and to return home. Now, I had just turned 21 while I was in Silver City, so his parents were nice enough to hold a birthday party for me. It was a really, really nice time. But I was struggling because I had no plan. I just knew that I didn't want to go back to that school in Fresno for reasons that were probably due to my immaturity, but I didn't know what to do. So while there, it's not like I was turning my back on God. I was praying, and one day, after Christmas, I was praying in the bathroom. I really felt the Lord spoke to my heart. And the words were, go back to Los Angeles, go back to West Coast. What? Now, I mind you, by this time, I was like 7 months old Christian, I was still a baby. So hearing that impression, or getting the impression in my heart, was very astounding. But I really believe that it came from the Lord. So after struggling with my decision, I decided to go back to Los Angeles and go back to my church. But I had no money once again. Therefore, I had to borrow money from Luane's father, a minister, and he was nice enough to lend me, I think it was $60, $70, because that's the bus fare. So I went back to Los Angeles. I had no plan. I just knew that I had to meet Pastor Kim once again, and he and I had a conversation. And he said, well, why don't you stay and get some training, whether you are called to ministry or not. Training gives you discipline, and that's always useful. So I ended up staying. From 82 to 84, under his care, I would be trained, disciplined, and also began to serve as a junior high school pastor in 82. And there you go. From then on, I will be in ministry till today. There, I met my wife in Los Angeles, and would go on to have our 3 children. I went to all my schools there, seminary and universities, and the Lord allowed me to plant a church. And from there, we would go to Mexico as missionaries in year 2000. That was a very, very significant moment. That moment I spent in the bathroom of Lorraine's house when I heard the Lord impress my heart to go back to Los Angeles. Yeah, I do believe that the Lord still speaks in our hearts. It's that audible voice. And when He tells you something, then I think you need to obey. And I'm a living proof that as a young believer, I knew enough to obey God. Well, Holy Spirit really empowered me to obey Him. Without knowing what's going to happen in the future, I turned my back to my own plan, went back to West Coast, and I believe that the Lord made a significance out of what was a confused, directionless life. So now my son is here, and I feel so emotional that he is sent here. I feel like it is very, very significant for him to be here, and if anything like what happened to me happens to him, I told him that what happens here and the direction God's going to lead him will be very significant for the rest of his life. One thing for sure, we could talk about worship, we could talk about sacrifice, but above all, God desires obedience from us. So whether you are hearing God's voice while reading the Bible or get a strong impression while you're praying, obey Him. Obey is better than sacrifice. Thank you.